Hello everyone, welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where this week is worse than last week. We take a look at every single board game Kickstarter finishing up this week, unless I miss them and you guys tell me about it, which I appreciate, and then I cover them the next week. And really, I'm going to claim that was by design, because this week we have OrcQuest and we have nothing else. Really nothing else. At least not in this sort of board game tabletop world that I'm used to living in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover a few RPG things that look interesting to me, at least from the minimal pitch, and I'm gonna wait and see in the next 2 hours when Marvel United is gonna finish, and if that will fall into this category, in which case it will be added. And other than that, we got a pretty light week. But we're still going to have fun. We're still going to have a good time, hang out. And part of that is in part to all of my newest patrons. How could I not shout you all out? You're all friggin' amazing. Again, I am blown away, like, so consistently by the generosity of all of you in this community. And you make it so that I can do this week after week and day after day. And I'm just really, really touched. So Lenny, JNC, Mark, Rolly, and Jake, thanks for jumping on board and supporting the Room and Board Patreon, supporting it for those yearly tiers that some people are signing up for. You save 10% because then I save that on transaction fees, obviously. Again, and thanks to all my patrons, I'm just really, really grateful, and this support means a lot, as I'm sure we'll cover in one of the Kickstarters as well. You make dealing with the sawing outside right as I'm about to film worthwhile. But yeah, even a little goes a long way, and it enables me to continue doing this and put more and more effort into this, and I'm just really thankful for you all. Also, on a general note, if anybody's going to Niagara Board Game Convention, let me know, because I'm going there. I'm filming this on Wednesday, so I'll be there in the next... Oh, wait. This is coming out later than that. This is coming out after I'm back. So never mind. Don't let me know. Don't let me know that you were there, because then I'll just be so sad I missed you and we didn't get to play a game. So, but hopefully we found each other. Hopefully we saw each other across the room of the restaurant where we got pushed out of the main hall. And we sat down and we played a fun game. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the week. OrcQuest, my plan succeeded. I now have something legitimate to talk about. You can see there are 3 hours remaining when I'm filming this. But we might as well just cover OrcQuest and see what the deal is, because it's raised a heck of a lot of money, over $500,000 Canadian, which, I mean, it's Canadian, so, you know, don't get too excited. But it's something I think 4 or 5 people were asking me about, and I'm sure there will be a late pledge, so let's check it out. I mean, I'd watch this just as a movie. I love the way his little mouth moves. Oh, okay, be quiet. Okay, I'm a stupid little idiot baby because I didn't cover this last week, and I'm really glad that you all set me straight. I'm in. I'm obsessed with the theme. Give me the orcs who want to kill the horks, the hogorps, the hob orcs, as they should be called. Yeah, the one thing, I haven't read the rulebook yet, but I just watched this video and it pumped me up, and then I'll read the rulebook and I'll actually think about it critically. But the one thing that makes me really, that I think is really cool is right here. Clearly this is how you set up the rooms. When you enter them, you throw the dice, and wherever they land, that's where the people are going to be spawned, which I love. I just love that variability, right? Like it's a tactical game, and you don't know where in the room they're going to be, and it kind of gives that life. Just like this guy's teeth gives me life every time. Oh, Orc Daddy, he could be my god badass. That's what I gotta say. Oh, I love this right away. They say returning backers, no need to back this campaign. Check the FAQ. They're not trying to waste your time at all. That's incredible. You can click on the FAQ, I think. Yeah, boom. Cool, so this is a reprint then. They had a first campaign. When did they do that? When did they do the first campaign? Oh, it was by somebody different. Maze Games. Cool. It did not have the same production quality in the video. I'll tell you that for free. Oh, this was an early bird where you saved £9. Now 1 to 6. Okay, so it was 1 to 4, but then it says now 1 to 6. So I don't think you had to add on for the 6. I just want to see the difference in price, right? Well, obviously this was the worst one because for $10 more you got a little bit more stuff. Okay, cool. So that funded in 2018. They said it was estimated delivery 2019. Let's see when it actually delivered. They're actually lowering the price, they're saying. So I don't think it's actually delivered. I'm not sure I understand. I'm a backer of the first hour in 2018. I paid $1.99 for all in, $22 for the taxes, for shipping. Trop de frais de port. That's what my shirt says. Look at this OrcQuest deep dive. Hey, I'm glad we can do it. This is great. Monolith are always a professional company. I feel pretty much wrote the same amount because the Maze games were out of their depth on their second project and full of clowns pretending everything was okay. That is good news and look forward to the game now. A company I respect and own a few of their products has taken over the disaster that is Maze games. Anyone griping about the all-in value should really just draw a line under it and have a lesson learned that some clowns are out there, but Monolith is not of them. You're an idiot, dude. If these so-called clowns would have a product that was already good, do you think Monolith would have taken over greed? Well, this is a nice comment section, isn't it? Oh, this is nice, and because clearly they've been waiting for their game for so long, if you were a first backer, you don't have to pay VAT. That's a good discount. It's a great discount, actually, because VAT is the worst. So it looks like this ran a similar way that Euthia ran, in that they had so many different add-ons and possibilities, and like, yeah, we want to give everybody options, but then logistically for shipping, that only racked up the price, right? And they didn't ever consider, okay, well, if only one person is getting this one box, the amount of labor that has to go into producing that one box is enormous. But this is also cool that if every backer from the first campaign will receive an all-in pledge of the game, because they're just like, listen, we want to make it one price point. That's what it is. It is one price point. That's it. It's the €135, 195 Canadian, and then plus shipping. But if you backed it early, back in 2018, then you maybe only paid that Goblin pledge. And then actually, who's laughing now? It's everyone with the Goblin pledge. They had our money in good faith and they messed up. They even charged us shipping and ate that up as well. Well, yeah, then that's right. Wow. Okay, so this, I'm glad I've been reading through this stuff. This seems like it was just a royal screw up, but people will get their stuff. However, the 1,185 backers that paid for this all-in pledge, well, you could have gotten it cheaper later, but the people who played just for the Orc or the early Orc or the Goblin pledge, hey, this is why I say don't go all in. This is the #1 reason why you shouldn't go all in to anything ever, because they might go under and they might come back at a lower price and then you've paid too much. That's it. That's the reason. I'm sorry. That's it. You should have learned. All right, now that we're caught up, let's take a look at what Warpath has to offer with everything that they're giving you. 1 to 6 players, campaign driven. I mean, you don't want to ever play a campaign game with 6 players. Maybe you want to dual wield some characters, but unless your family is 6, in which case, hey, this is the one for you. Be some orcs. And find the halflings. Hence Resurrected, just like Euthia Resurrected. It's the exact same story. Except Euthia canceled when they realized that they couldn't do it, and Maze just took everybody's money and then went, sorry, we don't know. That's the danger of backing Kickstarter, I guess, right? Again, why you should always just do retail. Too much shipping. Yeah, and that's why they're saying, yeah, Maze will pay the shipping on these new backers' pledges because, yeah, some of them probably already did. Or they already paid too much. But Maze is only going to pay for your VAT. You still have to pay for your shipping if you didn't. So if you already paid for the shipping, hopefully, if somebody's a backer of the first one, let me know if you already paid for the shipping, if you're going to have to pay for that double shipping again. But again, this isn't on Monolith. This is Monolith trying to help fulfill, this real cluster or something. I said, I edited out the previous version of that word. 18 heroes. Oh, yes, Varric. Yes, Daddy Varric. Cthulhu? Yeah, there's some nice fan service. The Gnolls? Well, maybe that's what they were saying instead of whole, I don't know. No, the Porks. The Porks. That's that's what I love. We love the Porks. 928 cards. There's a lot of content here. Oh, cool. This seems fairly straightforward. When a hero activates, get 2 action points to spend on your skill cards. You start the game with 3 skill cards. So you have 2 choices, right? but each one is going to be different to your character. That's neat. I do like the spawning of stuff, but it feels like there might be a few extra steps. You have to drop the dice, you then have to put the tokens down, which if the tokens aren't readily available, that might be annoying. And then you flip the tokens, and then you have to get the corresponding mini from the box. It feels like there's going to be a lot of... If the storage solution here isn't good, this is going to be annoying to play. Pray to Badass before each roll. You just build a dice pool, so it's very similar to something like Massive Darkness, too. You roll all the dice together of the enemy and the attacks, and you see who has more for attacking. Click here to download the rulebook. Where are you down the page? How far down? 3/4 and a lot of scrolling through pretty pictures to get there. That's disappointing, but you want to see the pretty pictures because, hey, it sells. I do love the amount of different dice you get, though. This is neat. For the enemy phase, you're going to draw these patrol cards, the danger of being discovered. So it's kind of some stealth elements to this as well. So there are patrols that happen first, and it can ring a bell to bring in reinforcements. So you want to deal with these before like the reinforcements come and they overwhelm you. It says the behavior of the toughest enemy affects the rest of the enemy group. Peasants, for example, will always obey an officer and feel much braver with a pair of war dogs. So that's cool. I like that concept, but again, I'm always thinking about that sort of ease of play and ease of getting it to the table, and how much effort are you going to have to delve into to check, okay, well, now there's war dogs. Basically, it probably just everything acts like the better thing in there. This still is only talking about 4 people in this rulebook, though, so it doesn't seem like it's even been updated since they moved it to a 6-player, which is weird. Really weird. I've switched over to the quest book to see how they are. I wasn't really sold on this first quest. This second quest is funny, though. You have to reduce each peasant down to 1 health because death would make them less talkative, and then you roll a dice to see where the exit is because you got to get out. That seems fun. Cool. I'm into this. Where are the badass points? Or the end of phase? They have directional. The direction is important. So if you attack their back, they're going to react and turn around, and then you'll be able to get another thing. That's cool. Cool. This seems fun. It also seems like a lot of upkeep. That is a lot of big bucks. But feels like you're getting... Like, for the price, $135 is expensive, right? Let's see the shipping. Let's see how much it actually costs. Shipping to the US is $34 to $38. Shipping to Canada is $37 to $42. Right. Here's where the price goes up. So it's $135, but it's actually $170. So is it worth 170 euros, which is about, 170 US? And that's like $250 Canadian. That's a lot. That's double what it would cost you to get something like Massive Darkness 2 in stores. The thing about this is that I don't know if this would ever see retail. That's what I would be concerned about. But then again, that shouldn't be the concern, right? Like, that's a concern which will hype up the FOMO. It'll make you feel, oh, I need to get this now. It'll never be in retail. This is my only chance. Sure, if there's a market for it, and it is the most amazing thing ever, again, you'll always be able to get it on the secondary market. You might pay a little bit more. I do think this looks fun, though. I really do think this looks fun. It's obviously out of my own personal price range for the amount that I get, like, single games to the table. But the things that I like the amount of heroes, and I like that each hero is going to start with their own unique skill card, as long as those skill cards are different. I like this all one level pledge. It seems to make sense knowing what the campaign has gone through. It feels like you're getting a lot of stuff, and so usually with this extended price point, I don't feel like you're getting as much stuff as this, which is good, right? Like, it feels like you could be getting a lot of stuff, but I'm fearful that the upkeep, they're not showing anything in terms of unboxing or storage solution, how it's going to look. Which, if there's no storage solution here, it's just going to be everything in trays. I'm worried at how accessible this will be and how annoying this will be to actually get out. That's what I would be concerned about. But there's a lot of cool things in here. I wish I'd covered this last week where it was actually relevant. But I'm glad it's here now because, again, this is literally... I've spent most of my time on this because it's literally like the only thing worth talking about this week. And I think it's worth talking about because it is this big epic adventure. I'm torn. but it feels like you get it. It's a very expensive price point, but it feels like it might earn that price point, which is not something that I can say for a lot of the other games. So if you're interested in that, well, go check it out. It's already finished, but you can for sure late pledge. It's only, you know, barely a week after. So go check that out. That's OrcQuest Warpath Resurrection, just like Uthia Resurrection. Good name change. Moving along, something that I thought was just funny is this. Oops, all dragons. For 5e, now that D&D debacle is still ongoing, I'm not sure if you haven't heard, my friend Zach was telling me about this. He, of course, is my RPG expert, who I will get on the channel to do some RPG content for you all. Him just going over his sort of favorite RPG systems, an RPG system of the month. That might be a fun thing to have up. But we're figuring it out. But we're in talks. Yeah, if you haven't heard, I'm sure you have. But the gist of it is, Hasbro was like, hey, everything that's D&D that anyone's ever put out, it now belongs to us. And so people were naturally upset about that. They said, no, thank you. And they said, okay, fine. Everything you put out originally, you can kind of have. But anything you continue to put out that's got any D&D related, it belongs to us. And then everyone was like, we're really mad about that. And then now Hasbro said, they put out a statement. They're like, people are going to say that they won. And that's not true. We've really just put this out for seeking feedback. We wanted to see feedback on this thing and see if people noticed. And yeah, people were going to notice. And they're like, no, we just wanted to make sure that we could say, don't do racist and sexist things and hurtful things with our stuff. That's what we wanted to be able to do with this thing. And everyone else is like, no, you wanted more money. That's what you wanted. But hey, good. The people haven't won. Hasbro's, they're all rethinking. The people haven't won. Anyway, this one actually, I mean, if you want 5e, you want a bunch of dragons. Seems like a decent price point. $13. Oops, all dragons. Ghost dragons, holy dragons, sky dragons, smoke dragons. I don't know why this makes me laugh, but I think, of course, it's supposed to make you laugh. It's called Oops, All Dragons. And if you make me laugh, well, you're going to get on Crowdfunding Countdown. And speaking of support, also, I might as well point out that this is your chance to support the Dice Tower for 2023. The Dice Tower always has a Kickstarter every year. If you haven't heard of the Dice Tower, well, I'm sure you have, because you've heard of me, and they're bigger than me in this space. What I think is awesome about the Dice Tower is that they have 8 full-time staff and a bunch of other part-time staff. They wanted to have me as their staff. Tom loved what I was doing at the World Series and said, do you live in Florida? Please, I'd like to hire you as a producer. So that was kind of a nice compliment. So, of course, I'm going to throw my support towards them. Unfortunately, I did not uproot my life and move to Florida. But, yeah, they're good people over there. I like them. And instead of supporting someone on Patreon monthly every month and then getting the Patreon announcement and saying, hey, remember you're paying this person? Have they earned their keep? Have they? But we'll check in next month. You can just pay a one-time yearly donation. They want you to think of it as a yearly thing. So yeah, they've raised about as much as a little bit more than Room and Board Patreon. Just a bit. Just a tiny little bit. Yeah, but I mean, they got a couple more employees, so I guess raising a bit more makes sense. But yeah, you can get a bunch of promo cards that don't matter whatsoever. Well, they kind of do, just to give you something so you feel like you get something in return, but don't back it for the promo cards. Back it because you want to support board game coverage, or back everyone. But yeah, they're great. Great team over in the Dice Tower, so there's your shout out if you want them to be able to continue having employees, because this is a large portion of all their salaries. Moving along to Nirvana on Fire, the expanded edition. This is RPG content. Again, survive biological terrors and the fires of revolution to save a dying colony in this DNA melting mystery for the Mothership RPG. And I think a couple of my patrons have told me about the Mothership RPG and that they really like it. And so that's what made me take note about this one. If you like the Mothership RPG, check it out. It's raised a bunch of money. And it's in Canadian. Look at that. Vancouver, Canada. You can get a digital copy of this for $10, and in terms of RPG content, that's always really good. Or you can get a physical copy for $20, and that's also really good for RPG stuff. Nirvana on Fire Expanded Edition is 32 tightly packed pages of Buddhist-tinged biotech sci-fi horror for Mothership. If you're into Machiavellian intrigues, murderous AIs, and prayer beads, well, you'll be into this. Anyway, for those of you who like the Mothership system, check that one out. That's cool. Moving along to an actual game. An actual game. We've got this and one other thing as an actual game. We have Art Slime, which makes the cut. Guaranteed. It's a $5 print and play, which we always like to cover. So let's check out if it's any good at all. It's okay. I think the price point is correct. Give me that rule book. See, this is interesting. You just get a hand of slime, and there's the 3 primary colors, but you have to move them around and mix them. However, whenever you play them, you have to play 2 side by side. So it forces you then to think about how you're going to manipulate things, which is great. That solves the problem, the initial problem that I thought, well, if you can just place 1, this is going to be really stupid and boring. But that's not, so that's great. You want to get the paints required to paint your stuff, and maneuver and shift around your tableau as effectively as you can. So there you go. Just a simple little print and play about getting slime cards. Very simple, $8 to print it out. I think that looks nice. But keep in mind, you see these physical products, but they are only PDFs. So if you want their other games, oh, Kaikoro. Oh, yes, baby. That's who this company is. Great job. Kaikoro was one of my favorite bits that I did. This is self-indulgent o'clock for me. Yeah, I thought Bako Dig and Write was fine. Kaikoro actually looked like a fun roll and write. And also because you have to defeat the kaijus by going for their heart. And that led us down a beautiful path of tangents. I think Kaikoro still looks better than that, but of course I'm biased because, well, I've been catfishing Kaikoro to save your cities since the day I was born. What pressure to put on a child. But yeah, not bad. Again, $5 print and play. If you want to print out the cards, I think printing out cards as a print and play is a lot more of an ask. Printing out as a roll and write seems like a much better standard way of doing things. This way you have to print out cards and cut them, and that feels like a lot of effort. But if you're interested, check that out. Only $5 US, $8 Canadian. There we go. Moving along to Make 100. The Hermit game, which is an 18-card solo game of a hermit's crab journey to the ocean. I'm excited about this one. Somebody used the almost extinct roomandboardreviews.com website that I do not update whatsoever, and it was a bad purchase. That's when I thought I would have the bandwidth to spend on making content and creating my own platform and a place for people to go. Nobody goes to people's websites anymore. Come on. Tell me if you've ever been to any board game YouTuber's website ever, and I'll consider paying the... No, I won't. I'm not going to upkeep it. This is the website. YouTube, well, don't tell YouTube or they'll take even more of a cut than 45%. Yeah, somebody sent me this as a message. Didn't they? No, it wasn't this one. Nope, just kidding. It was a different Make 100. Which we're going to cover right after this. So sorry, Hermit's game. I'm not excited about you whatsoever. Because you're not in Canada, you're in LA. Only 100 copies, and yet there's 195 backers. Oh, I guess for print and plays. Oh yeah, the only thing that you could get would be the print and play, because all of the copies are gone. That was a okay deal for it, although shipping's probably more expensive. Hermit is an 18 solo card game. It looks like it's very similar to Grove, except you're going to have likely this is the arrangement of what you want to create, right? I think they've done that. No, they haven't. Oh, you move the hermit crab by creating that line and matching the pattern. Honestly, seems like a pretty good game along the lines of any sort of button shy games. Oh, but if you match 2 icons, the wave doesn't move. And if you match 2 wave icons, it gets closer, so you want to manipulate that at the same time. Cool. This actually looks like a really neat little game. Great explanation as well. $2 print and play? I would print 18 cards over. Sorry Kaikoro and Art Slime. I would pick this 10 times out of 10 as a game to both print out and to play. Look at that. We're even getting another game in this crowdfunding countdown with Make 100 Dungeon Makers, which is listed as tabletop games. How did I miss this? Yeah, it was there. I just missed it. Make 100 finishes next Tuesday, January 31st. Make 100 Dungeon Makers is next January 28th, and I did miss it. So let's check it out right now. This seems cute enough. 2-player head-to-head dungeon game. It's not like Duel Monsters. I'm sorry. I cut all of those from this episode because they were all just trading card games that I didn't want to say that I hated because clearly I'm going to hate them. 72 dungeon tiles, great. Now, I was told the rulebook was, yeah, there we go. I would prefer the rulebook, you know, be here. But I guess they wanted to highlight it. I do want to see the rulebook fundamental games. Thank you. From one Canadian to the other. Thank you. 20 pages. It does not need to be 20 pages. I can already tell you that much. It's King Domino, Carcassonne. Selecting and laying new dungeon tiles, placing a minion meeple, like that. Putting a block tile in the opponent's dungeon, don't like that. But actually, it's probably pretty key. If the opponent just gets a really good tile, well, then you can block it. This is kind of neat. It allows you to take either your center action tile. This is how you choose your actions. You can take either the left, the center, or the right, but you can't take the top or the bottom. And then it says you can turn, when you take an action, you then turn your thing so that, you know, you can take the different actions. I would prefer it, I think, it was like left and top, or left, right, and top, and center. I think just turning it means that it feels like you're going to have a lot of different actions and have to really deal with that system, but you know, okay, I can either take these two things or these two things. And then when you take a thing, the other options switch. So if you're going to take a tile, then you know you're going to have to take another tile. At least it makes it a little bit more predictable that way. I take it back. I take it back. It might be, again, this isn't Trajan. Even just talking about it the other way, I think I would just be annoyed. Maybe not. But you know what I mean, right? Like the possibilities would shift significantly with the 3 possible actions that you can choose. In this case, there's going to be the center action, and then you can take these 2 actions or these 2 actions, and they're always going to remain the same. Oh, and placing a tile doesn't even rotate your action card, so it's not like you can manipulate it that way. You're going to have to go back and forth between the decisions. Here's the thing. It says rotate your action card 90 degrees to the left or the right, so the action you would like to perform moves to the top of the card. What? Okay, an easy way to remember your action choices is left, right, and center. You cannot choose the top or bottom actions. It says when your action card has multiple icons side face up, you can choose one of the following. Place a tile. You don't rotate your action card. You can just rotate your action card so that the action you'd like to perform moves to the top of the card, which apparently you can't use. This is a bad rulebook. This is very unclear. And this is why people don't put the rulebooks at the top of the page when they're like this. Am I missing something here? I don't think I am. Well, I mean, I think I am, but... Okay, then it goes into action descriptions, so... Oh, I see what they're saying. Rotate your action card 90 degrees to the left or the right. So the action you'd like to perform moves to the top of the card. So that's why you can take the left and the right, because you're going to move it, take the action, and then flip the tile over. So you're going to have to take that next time. And then you have to flip it back, and then it'll be left and right that you can choose from, which will either move it back and then give you access to different things. So kind of like what I was saying at the beginning. Yeah, just very unclear. I like the idea of it. People are going to forget what's on the other side, because then when you flip it, you're going to have those 2 options. And then so if you ever want to do the one that's on the bottom, no, you're going to always have the 2 options depending on what you take. And then you're going to always have the 2 options depending on what you take. So I take it back. It seems cumbersome, but now we're here. All right, so it's kind of like King Domino. It's kind of like Carcassonne, and then it's kind of a bit of Castles of Mad King, a little bit, because you're going to try to chain these different tiles together in terms of making them worth more points. Here's what you can do with this game. Jeez, that was... Oh, but I love these do have Tabletop Simulator. Would love that it was also on Tabletopia. Yeah, okay, at least it explains it a bit better in the gameplay. Like, change your wording in your rulebook right now. If your rulebook isn't as clear as this gameplay section, then I don't want it at the top. I don't. Yeah, you're gonna build your little map using these tiles. You'll reveal new tiles. You can put them in there. They're all gonna have different attributes on them. They have these little icons on the bottom, XTP, whatever, so that you know what they are in case the design isn't clear. Then you can put minions in your own or in your opponent's dungeon. When somebody completes a 5x5 dungeon, the game is over. You can also block somebody else's stuff. One of your 3 block tiles, so you only have a limited amount. That's fine. I like that better. And the minions have to run to those in order to get there. And earning points. It just kind of feels like your minions are going to run back and forth just over and over again. You move your minion. But I guess because you're going to move the minion, you're going to have to put a tile down. You're going to have to do something else. You're going to have to put a tile down. Then you can move your minion. I like the flow of it now that I'm envisioning it out, but geez, this was just, this was rough to get through. $28 US, $36 Canadian. I wanted it to be 20, but 28, you know, that's not outrageous. Only is to Canada and to the United States. Shipping's about the same, so it's $48 Canadian to get to my door. 30, I'd consider it. But I like what I'm seeing now that I understand it and have gotten through that atrocious weird wording. You got to be more clear. Maybe that was just me. Maybe I'm just a stupid idiot. Well, we know I'm a stupid idiot, but generally I have a handle on these sorts of things, and that discrepancy just really threw me for a loop. But I think it's testament to what the game is actually doing, and I think if you think about the ways in which will be built, you're going to have 50 turns, right? You're probably going to have 50 turns because you're always going to want to move your minions. Or you're going to have 40 turns. Let's say 40 turns because you're going to want to build a big enough path first, and then you're going to want to add your minions, and then you're going to want to move your minions. So about 40 turns to get as many points as you want. Anyway, if you're interested in that, the finishes January 28th, Saturday at 9 a.m. That's pretty much it for games, but just a couple other things that I thought looked cool. Night Fell, Children of the Moon. Howl at the Moon and experience lycanthropy in all of its shape. And the Golden Annie's Award winner for the World of Lumen for 5e. And another 5e little thing. Honestly, that Make 100, the Dungeon Makers, wore me out that I can't even make a fun joke about Spicy Miss Sally. That's on you, Make 100. I'm worn out. Miss Sally, the spicy pinup girl who has not safe for work versions as well. People, I am more interested in whatever is in that pie than I am with Miss Sally, who's clearly either hypnotized or is going to chop me up and put me in that pie. But hey, it works for the praying mantises, the praying manti. So there you go. A better thing to sculpt actually is over on GameFound. This is 80% funded. It's raised $13 Canadian. I don't leave a stone unturned, or I try not to. This actually looks really good if you have a way to print minis. These minis look fun. They glow in the dark because you can put a little LED in them. And there's a little Halloween one-shot with some STL mini files, and they say, hey, these are all usually based on popular demand. So for seasonal joy and to sweeten the deal. So check this one out. I mean, if you like printing stuff, it looks really cool. I am very surprised that this has not had the great success that Pinup Sally, Miss Sally has had. But yeah, I think this looks good. I think this looks like the best thing that is on GameFound right now. So get the one-shot adventure and the 5 STL minis. You can get the file now. They're giving it away. I mean, yeah, if you like one-shots, check this one out. I think worthwhile completely. So that's it for the regular scheduled programming. We made it here. Much longer than I expected because of OrcQuest. But I'm very happy OrcQuest exists. I was going to go and cover the Galactic Era Kickstarter from days gone by. And you know what? Let's do it. Because I just reviewed Galactic Era last week. I think it's a really good game. And so somebody made a comment saying, I think I remember seeing this on Kickstarter, but I wasn't sure about it. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so they didn't pull the trigger and were considering it at retail. And so I thought, well, let's go back and check that and see. Yeah, here we are with Galactic Era. Let's see what the video was like. Yeah, video's not great because it's just like, hey, I really like making board games. And a lot of people do, but this one is actually really good. So, there were 2 pledges here, €59 for a basic copy, which doesn't exist. Basically, the deluxe copy exists. That's what you can purchase. And you can play only 4 players. And I think you want this to be able to play up to 6 players because it gets that galactic scope. So that would have been €79. Let's see what the shipping was. But again, it was 2018. Remember, these were... No, it wasn't. It was 2021. Estimated delivery 2021. These were not simpler times. I actually like the structure of this campaign page as well. I think I would have liked this one because you go through, this is just stuff that's in the rulebook, basically. The rulebook is pretty far down the page. I've already looked at it because I wanted to see if this was good. But what I do like is that it has a nice features page which features the fun things about it, except for this tactical rock, paper, scissors. That doesn't sound fun to me, but it actually is interesting. I mean, the best part is the hidden fleet and the deterministic combat. But the rock, paper, scissors fashion is put your counterattack fleet and against somebody else's assault fleet. That's the only thing. So That doesn't sell me on it. I don't think that should be there, but again, that's a nitpick. Why back? Because it's good. That's all you need. And to save money, because, yeah, in retail there will only be the deluxe version. Hey, at least that was clear, right? That's great. It gives a good breakdown, honestly, a better breakdown than what I did. And then you can download the rulebook, which is a little over halfway down the page, but you could download the rulebook and see the latest draft, which is great. Let's see what shipping was. That's the only thing I didn't look up. Retailers, very clear. They can do a group buy of games for $275. Oh, and he offered free shipping to retailers? Jeez, this was the friggin' deal of the century. Retailers, why did you not pick this up? 5 deluxe versions, so you could have gotten a group buy for $55, but then you have to do shipping, and it includes the sale tax. Shipping to the US was $20, Canada $37. That's awful. That's bad. So that would have been about 140 Canadian. It's about 100. Still, it's a little bit more expensive now. So you did save money on it. US shipping though, that's really good. And normally I'd say 20 isn't that good, but this box is friggin' hefty and heavy. Yeah, I feel like they cut costs here. It was a decent deal. So it would have been $99 US to get it to your door. That would have been a good deal. This is definitely a $100 game. It's real good. Of course, I might have said back then, it's probably too much for me. I'm not that interested in the SpaceX genre. I don't really get together with people that much to do it. And that's probably what I would have said. But I think I would have thought that it looked really cool with a lot of elements. And you know what? I think I would have been right. I love that I'm just doing this thing so I can say, hey, I bet I would have predicted that this game was good because I just said this game was good, so I bet I would have predicted it was good and knew that I was right. Well, when I agreed to review it, I did read the rulebook and I did look at the stuff and I thought, yeah, this does look cool, and then it met my expectations, right? That's the due diligence that I generally do when people reach out to me, especially from sort of more indie games, because again, my time is kind of running a little bit short and I can't cover it as much. I can't cover everything, and I want to focus on doing a little bit more top 10 stuff on the channel and more lists and more things that I enjoy watching and I think people would enjoy watching and could help the channel grow a bit more. Good boy. Anyway, it's Artie's supper time. Well, it's lunchtime. So every week I still do a pick for me and a pick for you, and this week is no different, and I'm not going to put Galactic Era in the pick for me. I might, though. I might. No, I've got two. The pick for me, the pick for me is Make 100, the Hermit game. I think there's some very simple mechanics here. I think it builds on what Grove does, and Grove is really well received. I think it feels like it would be very relaxing. Maybe that's just the pictures of the beach and the sand. But yeah, that's the pick for me. And the pick for you is OrcQuest. Only if you have the space for those big boxes, you don't have a million dungeon crawlers that you don't get to the table, you have that excess income. Only if you're in the upper echelon of the income bracket. I don't think that this is going to revolutionize dungeon crawling, but I think the theme is fun, and I think you get a lot of stuff equal to the cost. And I don't think it's going to be in retail, right? Those are the reasons why it's a pick for you. I think it looks solid. I don't think it looks like it's going to blow your mind. But I think if you like this genre and you want to run around and roleplay as orcs and feel fun punching elves in the face instead of the opposite way around, I think it's really cool. And I also think it looks like Monolith had a good plan going into it, reading the other updates, saying if they raised $200,000, they could afford to deliver this and the previous backers. I like that they've taken it and that those previous backers are going to be getting their game finally in October. So because of that, OrcQuest would be my pick for you, but with a million caveats, right? These pick for yous, well, it's always just, the picks of the week. I always try to splash a little bit of cold water on you when I get you all hot and bothered about a game. Just because there's a pick for me, pick for you, it's just to highlight the best of the best, doesn't necessarily mean you always have to go out and buy it. But you know that. You're all sensible people. You're here with me, and I appreciate you being here with me as well. Thanks so much. This was fun. I had a good time. We're back with Crowdfunding Countdown, baby. Episode 74. Oh, 75 will be the next one. I'm excited, actually, because there are a bunch of games that are being advertised to me right now that I think, oh yeah, I'm excited to look into these and excited to talk about them. So here's to another year of fighting the FOMO. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but that that might be a good candidate. Fight the FOMO, yo. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know you did. Just click the button. You've already left. It doesn't matter. Go have a cookie.